Hi, I'm Spiro with SP Wood Art. I'd like to show you a few tips on making bottle stoppers this week. I first start by choosing a blank either of wood, acrylic, true stone, or any other type of medium that you'd like to use. I usually select a 2x2 by 2 inch square piece to work with for bottle stoppers, although I prefer 2x2 by 3 to give it a little bit of height. Then I mark the center of my blank and drill a hole with a drill bit size appropriate to your bottle stopper mounting method. There are many types of bottle stopper kits that you can purchase, or you can make your own bottle stoppers. You can make many bottle stoppers out of cork, silicone, stone, stainless steel, titanium, but no matter what you make a bottle stopper out of, bottle stoppers, in my opinion, are just really fun to do. You can be really creative and they're quick and easy. Here, as you can see, I'm tapping the threads for my bottle stopper kit. I believe this is a 3/8 inch tap. Then I'll take my blank and screw it onto my bottle stopper chuck. I know there are many methods to mounting your bottle stopper blanks to your lathe, but I prefer this specialized bottle stopper chuck. Okay, I'm going to have to put my foot in my mouth now because my bottle stopper mandrel stripped the threads on my wood. So now I'm doing a different method here of adding a dowel into the hole to mount it to my drill chuck on my lathe. Still couldn't achieve a snug fit with the dowel on the bottle stopper blank hole, so I decided to just put a little CA glue on it to glue the dowel in place, and then I'll remove that dowel later. Now I'll true up my blank with my spindle roughing gouge. Also, I don't believe I mentioned that this is a laminate wood of different colors that I purchased, and I believe that it's made from birch wood. I'm going to use my digital calipers to measure the bottle stopper top and transfer that to my blank to ensure that the blank will fit nicely onto the bottle stopper. If the grub screw hole wouldn't have stripped out, I wouldn't have had to do this part. Now I use a parting tool to remove the material down to my digital caliper measurement. Cutting, then checking, then cutting, then checking, then more cutting and checking. Now I'm ready to use my micro lathe tools, which are great for fine detail work, but these tools are not a necessity to have. There is a 1/8 and a 3/16 spindle gouge I have, a 9/64 inch beading tool. I also have a 9/64 inch diamond parting tool, a square nose scraper, and also a 3/8 parting tool and a 1/8 round nose scraper. Oh, and also a 3/8 skew chisel. Here is my 1/8 inch spindle gouge. As you can see, it's very small. And here is my 1/8 inch round nose scraper, and I'll be using both of these tools to carve my bottle stopper. On a side note, sharpening these micro tools can be challenging. I made a little magnetic piece of wood that sticks on my bench grinder tool rest that I use to grind and sharpen these small tools. It helps it to keep in place and sturdy, straight, and also so the handle doesn't hit my bench grinding platform. It only takes a few seconds of a light pass on each side to sharpen these tools, or you can grind them down to nothing very quickly. Now I'll begin shaping the bottle stopper blank with my round nose scraper. And perhaps the biggest tip I could mention on using these small micro tools is you can't put them over the tool rests very far at all, or they'll really flex and bend. So you really need to keep your tool rest close to your workpiece. What's really nice about these tools, as you can see here, is you can get into very tight places. This is one of the reasons why I use these small tools on bottle stoppers, and you can also use them on pens if you like to do different shapes on pens or anything that's very small. I'd also like to mention that I'm not sponsored by any tools. I just like using these tools. One thing to consider about doing all this fine detail work is sanding becomes more difficult. If you want very tight, crisp crevices, then I would keep the sandpaper straight, don't fold it, and just use the very thin edge of the sandpaper. If you want kind of a rounded, slight rounded edge in the crevices, then I would fold it tightly and use it that way. I start off with a 150 grit sandpaper and work my way up to 400 on this bottle stopper. Now I just clean up the surface of the bottle stopper with some alcohol on a paper towel. I believe the alcohol is 91%. It's just rubbing alcohol, evaporates very quickly, and there's hardly any water. I decided to add some detail on the top of the bottle stopper. It looked too plain to me. I used my Robert Sorby micro spiraling tool to give it a little bit of an orange peel texture in the middle, and then I did a little line around it with a parting tool, and then filled it all in with some gilders paste, antique gold. Here I'm using a paper towel with some alcohol and just rubbing off the excess gilders paste. In order to keep this video at a reasonable length, I didn't show the Robert Sorby spiraling tool in action. Now, as a final step, I will use a Def gloss spray lacquer to spray about 4 coats on this bottle stopper. I usually use CA finish for bottle stoppers, but when there's a lot of intricate detail and crevices and work, sanding the CA gets a little bit difficult, so I just sprayed the lacquer. I wait about 10-15 minutes in between each coat of spraying lacquer. I know the directions on the can say to wait at least a half hour between coats, but I never do, and it seems to be fine. Here I'll just take my handsaw and cut the dowel off flush to the bottom of the bottle stopper. In case you're interested, this is a Japanese dozuki saw. Now I'll mark the center of the dowel and drill a hole through it. As for the mounting, I put it in my soft jaws vise for my drill press and wrapped a paper towel around it. Lastly, I'm just going to take some CA glue, medium thickness, and drop it in the bottle stopper hole and add the grub screw. And to speed up the CA glue drying time, I'll just spray a couple of shots of CA activator. All that's left is just to screw the bottom on.